just trying to survive and learn to love along the way. By Foreplay on AO3. Episode 58, Chapter 58 of Stalkers and the Truth. Shouta can't help but to think back to the start of the year, long before the sports festival happened. Todoroki is acting the same way he was back then. Cold, distant, unemotional, and almost hostile to some of the other kids. Clearly what's happened at the prison is affecting him more than he lets on. If he won't talk to Shouta, maybe he'll talk to Izuku again. It seemed to help him before. Or maybe he'll come out of his shell again once Shouta gets some answers from his brother, which is exactly what he plans to do. It's not exactly normal for someone to visit the prison as late in the day as he's planning to, but he can't exactly miss out on teaching his lesson right now, especially not when they're about to start their special move training for the provisional exams. Alright, listen up 1A. Tonight, I want you all to start thinking about special moves. We were discussing at camp. We'll start working on them tomorrow in class. He stops them before they get the chance to leave the classroom. Hey, Sensei. He was hoping for no questions, so he could hit the road, but looks like he'll never be that lucky. Yes, Kaminari? Can we come ask for help tonight? I don't want to try something tomorrow if it won't work. Unfortunately, I have business to attend to tonight. You can ask Press and Mike for help instead. He tries to ignore the disappointing looks on the kids' faces. As soon as they're all out of the classroom and on their way to the dorms, Shouta turns towards the garage. He's not fond of driving himself, but Tsukauchi said he'll have to meet him at the prison today. When he gets there, the detective was waiting out front, and he quickly leads the way to the interrogation room. When they open the door, Dabi is hardly recognizable. He's got white hair and a split lip, and is spouting a black eye that Shouta knows wasn't there when he captured him. Even if he hadn't been injured during the attack, the bruise certainly wouldn't be that dark. So Dabi, where are you? Touya. Tsukauchi certainly isn't expecting the interruption. Excuse me? I'd prefer if you called me Touya. Tsukauchi nods beside him, and Shouta decides to speak up. What happened to your face? Dear old dad wasn't in a very good mood when little Sho left. Is he telling them that Endeavor hit him? Who is Shouta kidding? Of course that's what he's saying. He'd say he'd never believe him, but then Tsukauchi would have to call him out on being a liar. He assaulted you in a government prison. Touya has the audacity to roll his eyes at Tsukauchi's questions. Oh, please. He's done much worse. And the heroes didn't give a shit. Besides, with the way they run this place, I'm not surprised they all turned a blind eye. Shouta raised his brows, but let Tsukauchi finish the line of questioning. What do you mean, the way they run this place? I barely left this room from the day I got captured to the day that Endeavor dragged Sho here to visit. This is crazy. Shouta doesn't think he could keep quiet anymore. Touya, that was over a week. Oh, trust me, I know. They only let me out to use the washroom. Barely fed me. Didn't let me wash up and get the stupid dye out of my hair until after Endeavor left. The goddamn League of Villains treated me better than this. That is concerning to say the least. I'll be having a word with the Hero Commission about this. Oh, I'd pay to see that, Eraserhead. Moving on. Your brother told me to ask about the pictures and the person following you. Tsukauchi looks over at him in surprise. Shouta hadn't exactly gotten the chance to share what Todoroki told him. Oh wow, jumping straight into the good stuff now. You can start with whatever you want. Touya looked less than thrilled about talking to them, but he starts speaking anyways. Before we get to that, I think I should tell you about leaving home. Shouta sits back in his chair and nods at him, while Tsukauchi starts the recording device and opens up a new page on his notepad. There wasn't some big event that triggered it. I left a good 10 years ago because I knew Shoto's quirk was about to come in, and I was worried about what Endeavor would do to me when that happened. I was 13. Shouta can't imagine being on his own that young, and to live with that fear for so long before that must have been awful. You didn't grab any of your siblings. You seem to care an awful lot about them. Touya looks annoyed by Tsukalchi's interruption. I couldn't. I was only 13 and I'm the oldest of us. I couldn't take care of 3 other people when I couldn't even take care of myself. Besides, if I took them, Endeavor would have come after us. He's always cared about the others more. As harsh as it is, Shouta could tell it's true. Going by the frown on Tsukalchi's face, his quirk only confirms it. None of them speak up again, so Touya continues his story. I was on my own for a while. It was hard, living on the streets, but I managed. A few nice people let me crash on their couches from time to time. One of them even got me a job. At least it seemed like someone had been looking out for Touya. By 16, I had my own apartment. It was shitty and on the wrong side of town, but it was mine. I tried to help out other runaways, like people did for me. When I was 20, the League came knocking. Shouta had been avoiding interrupting, but he couldn't help himself anymore. The League was active 3 years ago. Oh, I'm sure it's been much longer than that. They're only on your radar because they revealed themselves. And why did they do that? One for all. Izuku's quirk. Fuck. They'll have to get back to that later, after Touya tells them more about what happened 3 years ago. I said no to working with them. Shigaraki would come by every day and ask me the one question. When I asked why, he said that my quirk is a valuable asset. I asked him why he thought I'd work with him, and he said it because I hate heroes. I don't hate all of you, just Endeavor. Well, from what Shouta has heard so far, he's starting to hate the number 2 as well. After a few months, he came back with a folder. There were pictures of all my siblings in there. Sho was only 11. And he was in most of them. I don't know how they found out who I am. Shouta hates villains. What he hates more than villains are the ones who use family against people. Do you still have that folder? Yeah, I kept all of them. Plus the notes they sent. You got more than one folder. What's on the notes? I got a folder a week until I agreed to work with them. They'd come in every month or so, as if to remind me why I was there. The notes came with the pictures, usually threats against my siblings, details on what the League would do to them. It's no wonder Touya agreed to work with them. Shouta would have done the same if his family was in trouble. Where are they now? I still keep them in an apartment in town. I'll write down the address for you. Tsukauchi wordlessly hands over a pen and notepad. And what about the person following you? Some invisible bitch, so I never got to look at her. Touya looks upset at his lack of information. How did you know she was there? She talked to me sometimes. It was the times she didn't that were worse. I never knew whether she was there or not. That sounds unnerving, to say the least. Why was she following you? Tsukauchi looks... Why was she following you? Touya looks at Tsukauchi like he's crazy. The League couldn't trust me, so they used her to keep tabs on me. If I got out of line, they threatened my siblings worse. I was worried that one day it would turn into more than just threats, so I was always careful. Why'd you kill Sato, Touya? Touya looks down at his hands before speaking, a faraway look in his eyes. Because she was there. The League had more people in the forest than you know. Some of them were following Sho, and they'd kill him if I didn't exactly do as I was told. They wanted me to kill every kid in that room. Eraserhead, it's a miracle you showed up when you did. Shouta can't imagine what would have happened if he hadn't returned. It would have been an even bigger tragedy, and he doubts UA would have had survived the fallout. I didn't want to kill them. They're just kids, all little Sho's age. I took as long as I could without being suspicious, but she was getting impatient. She came up behind me and told me I had 2 minutes to finish the job. Shouta really had arrived in the nick of time. If he had been 2 minutes slower, all those students would be dead, and Touya would have 6 murders on his hand. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Touya. Shouta is safe at UA, but I'll get some of my officers to keep an eye on your brother's siblings. You being captured could have had a huge fallout. They'll probably know that you talked. Touya looks at Tsukauchi, a surprised look on his face. Thank you, detective. Touya looks so earnest right now. it would be impossible not to believe him, even without Tsukelchi's quirk on their side. He's only 23, but right now, Touya looks so much younger than that. It's hard to think about all that he's went through before now. Shouta doubts he had any childhood to begin with. He can't help but sympathize. Tsukelchi speaks up again before he could say anything. Alright, now that we got that covered, how about you tell us all you know about the League? Interesting way that they're betraying him. Okay, interesting way that they're showing Touya and how he behaves. Because I know words, guys. Guys, I know words. I'm good at English. English is not my first language. English is not my first language, but I'm damn good at it. Okay, but chapter 59 is called Of Moves and Moving Forward. So, as I mentioned before, this is and it mentioned in the beginning of this chapter, Shoto's mental health plummeted, which is understandable on why it plummeted, because, dude, he just quite literally had to revisit that. Like, his trust for his father broke again, right? Not again, but like it broke, right? Back to what it used to be, right? And that's a huge detriment. And to be put back into that space, into that mindset, into that, area of, well, at any moment I could get hurt. I need to be the best, otherwise he's gonna hurt me kind of situation. That's not fun. It's not fun. It's not silly, hee hee ha ha. And of course he's gonna, develop that whole, mindset again, right? He's reverted, right? After that really bad time. Like, obviously it's not back to zero, right? He's not back to square zero. He still has the trust he has on other people. Maybe they plummeted a little bit because the break of trust of his father could have also detrimented his other, friendships and familiarships with other people, right? But for the most part, it's probably not a big heartbreak, right? Probably not a big, as big as Endeavor's, right? He could learn to re-trust them again. And it's not like a necessarily like, oh, I don't trust you because of something you did. It's more of a, I don't trust you because someone I trust took advantage of that, and I'm scared it's going to happen again. But it's not a, I don't trust you because of something you did. So there's certain types of breaking trust that you could recover from. This is one of them. This is one of them that you could recover from because the person did nothing. This is all, somebody else's doing kind of thing. Though I'm not trusting people because, somebody hurt me, right? Somebody else hurt me in my life, so I can't trust you anymore because I don't trust that. But you could bring back that trust by showing that person, like, hey, you can still trust me. Don't, like, I didn't do anything and I'm not going to do anything to you, right? And that person could learn and understand, okay, yeah, you're right. You didn't do anything. You haven't done anything. I trust you, right? And it could bring back that trust that you once had with that person completely back. As I said, there's times when no amount of, bonding moments can bring a trust that you broke back. But that's emphasis, that you broke. Now, onto the Touya situation. This is hard. He's clearly been blackmailed into doing something that he didn't want to do. And my heart goes out to situations like this because, morally speaking, we understand why a person would commit such horrible acts and be villainous or a horrible person if it was literally like you're being blackmailed to do it. Especially if it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna reveal this about you, and instead of just that, it's like a I'm gonna kill your family kind of thing, right? Especially with I'm gonna kill your family or I'm gonna hurt your family kind of thing. I understand why some people are like, okay, yeah, I'll just do whatever you want. Even Shouta himself admitted, yeah, if it were my family, if it were me in that situation, I would have caved. I would have turned. I would have done anything for my family, right? Because that's the thing. That's the thing that people, do. And it's sad because, like, I really... Do I think Touya should pay for what he did? He killed someone, right? I'll be honest. My honest opinion. No. 1, this is fictional. 2, he didn't want to. He prolonged it as much as he could, but Quite literally, if he did not kill that person right there, his little brother would have died. They would have killed him. And then they probably would have went for his other brothers. And then, just to top it off, they might have just killed him to begin with, right? Because they could no longer control him, so they're gonna be like, alright, you just saw everybody you love die, you're gonna die now. Which is sad. I wonder what would have happened if Touya was not captured, and then the whole Hawks being a spy thing would have happened. That's an interesting premise of, like, what if Toya's not actually bad? What if, like, he's being blackmailed into doing this, or whatever, and Hawks finds out and all that stuff? Like, I wonder how that would be. That's an interesting premise. Is there a fanfiction like that? Anybody? Any Hot Wings fanfictions out there you want to recommend to me? I'm craving some hot wings. I've actually never had hot wings. The food, not the ship. This is interesting. I don't think I've ever read a Hot Wings fic. Oh my god, I haven't. Oh my god, I have not. Like, I mean, I've read fics where Hot Wings is in it, but I've never read a fic that's about Hot Wings. Like, for example, this is a Gen fic that has Shindeku in it. I think I have it tagged like that in my thingy. I hope I do, because I realize this is a Gen fic with Shindeku in it, and Eraser Mic in it, and Kiribaku in it, right? Or, for example, there's some fics where it's like, oh, this is a blank fic, but it has these ships, right? So I've never outright read a Hot Wings fic, right? I've read Gen fics that have Hot Wings in it, right? But it's not like the main focus. Like, they're already together, and it's like a side pairing and a side, thingy, right? But I've never read anything like that, I've never read a specific, about Hot Wings fic. Like this, although it's a Gen fic with Shindeku and then all the other ships, Shindeku would be considered the main ship, because that's probably what we're going to see developed, because the main character is Izuku, and we're going to see his story and stuff like that. Like, right now, we're getting a lot of Shinsou and Touya, but in this area, oh, let me read the summary. Izuku is pondering his dad's announcement when knocking on his door interrupts him. What do they want? What do they want his help with? Oh, is Shouta finally gonna get Izuku to help Shouta? Lovely. Okay, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.